Teresa, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Live. They never let me do that as a judge. All right. It is September 8, 2025. The time's 5:30 p.m. We are assembled here for a regularly scheduled city council meeting. It is now called to order. With those who can, join us in the pledge. Roll call, please.
Fonseca? Here. Kell?
Here.
Lottiehoff?
Here.
Mitchell?
Here.
Nichols?
Here.
Schneider?
Here.
Thompson?
Here.
Very good. Full count and a quorum, and time for public comment. Members of the public may make comments on any item that was not on the agenda at this time. Approach the mic, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes unless I authorize more. Direct your comments to the mayor and council as a whole, and we may provide a response to the public comment, but we shall not engage in discussion or debate on those items, and no action be taken on those items because they weren't published in advance, and we would not comply with the open meetings laws. That said, the microphone is open for anybody who'd like to speak.
My name's Josh Hazen, 408 West High Street. Back in March of 2022, I turned in a list of overgrown trees from Menards to the cemetery, from Center Street to Highland Acres. I delivered from Menards and amongst other people also. But I can't get down the roads when I have trees that come down to my windshield. Legally height is 13 foot 6 inches for me to go down the road. The ordinance says you have to have it over 15 feet over the street, 13 on the sidewalks. Now some have been cut down because of storms and stuff and whatnot, but there are still a ton of trees around here that I can't get through. I either got to drive on the other side of the road or I got to back up. So I've been up here 3 or 4 times. I even sent a letter to city council members and tagged everybody in it back in September 2024. But I haven't seen nothing done yet, and this is going on 4 years now. So I just need to know what we're going to do about getting this done so I can deliver products. I've broken 2 mirrors, 2 lights, 2 antennas, and scratching my truck trying to get around these trees. And sometimes it involves me driving up over the curb in people's yards in order to get around them because they're that far out and that far low. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Doris Kinnick, 2020 Catalina Place, Marshalltown. I'm just coming up here just to talk about a little bit about the Queen of Hearts Mansion that will no longer be part of Marshalltown pretty soon. And I'm really glad to see that a lot of it was salvaged. And I'm hoping that maybe the citizens could also be able to get some parts of the house before it is gone. It'll be sad to see it go, but obviously it's in very bad shape. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Remember finally when Rotary painted it, and I was dumb and stupid and was the High Point guy that day.
Jim Shaw, 522 North 2nd Street. I'm just up here to ask if there's any updates on the Legionnaire stuff other than what we see on the news, because that seems to be where we're getting all information.
You'll get an update tonight. Anybody else? Any council comments tonight?
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
Last Friday, I had the chance to go down to the harvest market that was on 13th Street. Every year that gets better and better, and I had to park about 5 blocks away. The amount of people that put that on isn't great, but boy, they sure do great things down there. The comments that I received over the weekend and at work today was they were very impressed with it, and everybody had a fun time. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for covering for me today at the ribbon cutting. Want to talk about that at all?
It went fine. We got her cut.
Okay. Now nobody knows what it was. Okay. Anybody else?
I have something, Your Honor. I wanted to recognize the Parks Department. They received a $2,000 Tree for Kids grant from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, and the grant funds the planting of 18 fruit trees in Optimus and Bicentennial Park. And Kristen Titus with our Parks Department partnered with the Trees Forever to prepare the grant application. The intent of the project is to address food insecurity, expand the community's tree canopy, and provide hands-on learning opportunities for youth.
Very good, thank you. And I did promise that we would get an update on the Legionnaire's disease. So our director of the Marshalltown Waterworks was kind enough to volunteer to come tonight to address us.
Hello. Never done this. Do I present to you guys or?
You know, it's always uncomfortable. Yeah, look to us, but yeah, backs to the people, and it's always strange to do.
Yep. So I don't have a big update on the Legionnaire's disease. I was just here to speak on behalf of Marshalltown Waterworks and ensure the community that our water is safe to drink.
And I'm sorry, I should introduce you as you're Zach Mayfield.
Zach Maxfield, yeah.
Maxfield, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
Okay, and your address, you can give the business address of the.
Yep, 1205 East State Street, Marshalltown, Iowa.
Thanks. All right, go for it.
Yep. So, like I said, I don't have an update. We're kept out of the loop, kind of like everybody else. But I just wanted to come here and assure you guys and the community that Marshalltown Waterworks' water, is safe to drink. All of our testing indicates that we're meeting and exceeding industry and state standards. So, I mean, I'm happy to, field any questions on what we do and how we handle things, but I'm not going to talk too much about the disease itself.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, and I promised you didn't need to stick around.
No, thank you.
Okay, very good. I will, as part of my comments, say that Zach was the first person I called when I got a call from one of the TV stations. And we're learning most of the information from there. I also had a conversation today with one of the state senators investigating the Department of Natural Resources and the Iowa State Health and Human Services reactions and the way they're doing the investigation and testing and that sort of thing. And Sydney Gruel, who is our county nurse or the public health director for Marshall County, assured me that drinking water is fine. You know, it makes sense that if it comes from a bacteria, it's probably not coming from your tap that has cold water running through it typically and not bubbling up and effervescing or doing this sort of thing that will carry this bacteria to other people. And then she did want everybody to know that there is a website. She emailed it to our city administrator. It's kind of a long one. Why don't you tell us as best you can?
Yes, sure. If you go to the Iowa Health and Human Services website, that's hhs.iowa.gov, click on health prevention and then disease information, and you'll find information about Legionella there.
It's also updated at 3 o'clock every day. So if you are really curious and want to know every day what's going on, you can get on that website, click on that, and it will give the count. As of today, the count is 30. They have not, DNR and HHS for Iowa have not identified a specific point or site. We as the city don't know anything more than what we can get from those two departments. But for those of you that fear drinking water in Marshalltown, it not only tastes the best, but it's tested 30 different ways. We haven't had a bad test in over a year, and it keeps winning the contest on the most palatable water to drink here. So don't worry about that. We do certainly, as the city, express real regret and sorrow for the family affected by the one victim who has died. Father Grady was well-liked and a good man, and there are 29 other people that have had the diagnosis. I was told by Sydney that every single health provider in town has the ability to do the testing if you have symptoms and think you need to be tested, so don't hesitate to do that. I know that COVID has been going around too, because some friends have been out of commission for a little bit with that as well. So that's the health update, Jim, and thanks for bringing it up, but I had anticipated people would have questions about that. So for the public out there watching and for those of you who showed up tonight, that's the best that we know. And that website is the best place to check on a daily basis. With that said, does anybody want to move to approve the consent agenda?
I so move.
Second.
Very good. Roll call.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Fonseca,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Lottie
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Very good. That carried. And on to reports. We just have one of those tonight.
She just ran out in the hall, Your Honor, to take a phone call. If you want to just pause for a second.
Sure. I could tell some lawyer jokes. Yeah, the other one was priest jokes. Yeah, you're saved. Yep.
Now that she's arrived, she's always fashionably late.
Always.
All right, I'm Susie.
I'm
with
Tiffany.
Impact.
With impact.
So we're here to share some data. January through August, we've had 151 calls for service.
336 people served total in those 151 calls.
28% of that was homelessness,
With 20% being in mental health.
20% being family conflict. Homelessness, mental health, family conflict made up 68% of all calls for service in 2025 thus far.
Positive note, law enforcement returned 100% of the time. Once we were called out, they were all able to get back doing what they needed to do.
Of those that we served, 98% of them accepted help from Impact.
We paid for a few hotel stays with donor funds. So we had 35 nights, 31 people, and a dog had a place to stay.
Our total follow-ups thus far is 395.
But in that, we have 625 total served throughout.
Homelessness was 38%.
Followed by the mental illness at 26%.
Those two made up 66% of our calls. So David always likes to share some stories. Those, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So, recently, Impact has been handling or helping handle and deal with a lot of children that have wandered off on their own. Not necessarily needing law enforcement all that time, so there was a call where I spent 2.5 hours with a child, and law enforcement was able to return to work. Another one we had is a family recently new to Iowa. I received a message thanking me for following up, just because they had never had that before. Nobody followed up after that initial crisis call.
So I had an individual reach out to Impact needing help with substance use. ER was not an option for him, so we had to figure something else out, and we had to do it quickly before they changed their mind. Luckily, a local pastor also got involved, got us some help. We got mom involved. He has now been 2 months sober. And this is a big
one.
milestone for him. So we love having that success story. This next one, I got involved with after a referral. Went out there with the family. Going to try to keep this as vague as possible. Turned into what was a social work type call, turned into a medical call, turned into a house being condemned. So 2 individuals lost their home in the blink of an eye. One of the individuals, we were able to get medical attention. They're now in a care facility. And the other individual has been housed in an apartment, and they're on the right track.
That's all we brought to you today. Any questions?
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, go for it.
How did I know that?
So Sue's TIF, I'm concerned about the mental health calls. Is it, do they have meds they're prescribed and they're not taking them, or what are you seeing? Or are they not on meds?
It's a mixture. It depends on the day. A lot of people are prescribed medication. Sometimes get to the point where they're like, oh, I feel good. I don't need the medication anymore. And then we just cycle. Others, insurance is an issue. Maybe we're not insured, so affording those medications is out of the question until insurance is figured out. Most of the time, it's not because they don't want to take them necessarily, but just don't have the means to get them. There's a lot of injections that are given for mental health, and so it's usually every 3 months, give or take. So getting them to consistently go in when needed for injections is difficult also.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
You bet. What are your hours again now?
2 p.m. to midnight.
Typically. So when there's 2 of us on, which we usually have 2 days a week where 2 of us are on, I end up being early morning shift, whether that's 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 9 to 7. So,
If we had more money, what would happen to staffing?
oh, you mean we would really love to have more staff, like a 3rd, 4th, 5th person.
I think the last time we had a report from the police department, it would be very helpful if
It
it
would.
stayed past midnight.
We agree. We do, but unfortunately, we just don't have the manpower for that right this minute. but if money is found from somewhere that can support that, we are all in.
He's here now, but what do you think of the new chief?
We adore him. We do. We do. Even if he wasn't here, we'd tell you the same thing. It's
And I think the department has the same feeling as mutual with you two.
we hope so. Survey says.
I mean,
Exactly.
it was a pretty good survey.
Okay. We don't typically open public reports like this to the public comment, so thank you. Unless anybody else has anything up here, thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, exactly. Report. All right, on to motions. First one.
Motion to approve a Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service for the American Legion Frank Lewis Glick Post Number 46 at 1301 South 6th Street.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion on this one? Any public comment? Roll call.
Mitchell,
No.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Fonseca. Yes. Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff.
Yes.
That carried. Very good. We have 4 resolutions. What's our first one?
Resolution accepting bid and authorizing the award of contract for the 2025 HMA crack and joint sealing project number STR 25003 in the city of Marshalltown, Iowa, in the amount of $400,623.78 to Mid Iowa Enterprises, LLC.
Is there a motion first?
I so move.
I'll second.
Very good. Now discussion.
Good evening, Heather Thomas, Public Works. In front of you is a resolution approving the award of the alternate bid for this project. During the course of the bid project, we did issue 2 addendums. One of them is this alternate that we added in, which switched and gave the option of a contractor to use a rubberized asphalt versus an emulsified asphalt. More information and details about that is in the memo if you have interest in it. But we're excited for this project and recommend award to Mid-Iowa Enterprises. And I'm opening it up to questions if there are some.
Questions up here first? In the packet. Any public questions? Let's call the roll.
Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Fonseca. Yes.
Okay, you want to read our next item?
Public hearing and resolution for the conveyance and transfer of title for East Lynn Street between South 8th Avenue and the railroad tracks.
It's 5:50 PM and the public hearing is open now. And we ask if there is staff review before I ask if you received any comments. That's just backwards from what it used to be.
Deb Millizer, Housing and Community Development Director, and Clayton's notes were that this has been before you previously, and it relates to the vacation of East Lynn Street between South 8th Avenue and the railroad tracks for Marshalltown Company's expansion project, and staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Thank you. You didn't get any written comments, did you?
No, Your Honor.
Any public comments on this one? The public hearing is closed at 5:51 PM, just a 1-minute one. And I do solicit a motion, right, to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Fonseca. Yes. Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff,
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Very good, that one carried. What's our next one?
Public hearing and resolution approving plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated costs for 21 West Main Street Doghouse Rebuild and Stabilization Project.
Public hearing is open at 5:51 PM and time for staff review.
Deb Millizer, Housing and Community Development Director. This is the public hearing for the 21 West Main Doghouse Rebuild and Stabilization Project. The project addresses the structural failure of the rear doghouse addition, with work including demolition, new framing, roofing, windows and doors, plaster and tuck pointing, asbestos abatement. By the way, I deal with a lot of asbestos abatement, who knew? you all probably knew, but I didn't know. And a new fire escape. Foundation stabilization is included as an alternate. The project is fully funded through council-designated local option sales tax dollars, which were committed in 2023 as part of the downtown revitalization effort. Staff recommends approval of the resolution, approving the plan specifications, form of contract, and cost estimate.
Very good. Did you get any written comments on this one?
No, Your Honor.
It is now open for public comment. Actually, it's open for council comment as well, I would assume.
Your Honor, if I may?
You may.
I have a question, and this probably can't be answered, but if I did the math right with the grants and everything, and if we approve this $200,000 tonight, grants and all, we're going to be into these two buildings, 21 and 23, for $700,000? Am I doing that right?
That's not math that I have looked into. I've only been working on the stabilization project.
It might be 500,000, I can't remember for sure. But my question is, that I propose is, before we invest this 200,000 tonight, what's the least we're going to take for these buildings as a body in the future? And how long will they sit vacant until we get that money? Or do we do the unthinkable and bite the bullet and spend the $200,000 to tear them down, which I would just hate. But before I vote to spend $200,000 more of taxpayers' money, are we going to sell these buildings, I guess, is what I'm asking. Anybody else to chime in? Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, my recollection is the council dealt with that issue and decided to bring it forward with this public hearing and resolution to make them so they are saleable. But that could be...
That's the direction we're currently operating under. As soon as we complete the repairs on the doghouse portion, we would put these buildings out for an RFP as we have the other properties in downtown.
Your Honor, I understand that. I'm just saying, if we're going to put this out for sealed bid and the highest bid comes in at $60,000 and we reject it, and then we go and this is like those properties on North Fifth Avenue. We went through 5 rounds. How many rounds are we going to do? I mean, I guess I'm just trying to get a feel. If someone would just speak up and say, this is the minimum I would vote yes for.
Your Honor.
Sure.
I guess my initial thought or response to that is we have work that needs to be done. We have engineering estimates at this point. So for us to throw out a minimum sellable dollar amount, there's still a large piece of the puzzle that needs to be identified. And I think us approving this and soliciting bids will help answer that. The second piece is, you mentioned the sealed bid process. We have other methods of selling this, and I think we need to explore those as well.
I looked at the front and back this last week, and from the front it looks like there's one building, but it does have 3 spaces there, so trying to tear down 2 of them and leaving the vape shop would be, I mean, I watched the guy tear down the Fandles building, and he was an artist to be able to tear it down without causing that much damage to the next building, but boy, I can't imagine doing it here. And then the doghouse, that sounds funny, and people have a picture of a little doghouse back there. No, it's a much bigger attachment in the back to fix.
I'm not even sure why it's called a doghouse. That might be a question for Heather. Do you know why it's called a doghouse?
Don't walk up there and say no.
So I think the terminology doghouse is probably a little bit legacy on this project. In the back rear right now, there's a single story that has a back wall, shared walls on the sides, and a roof. The initial plan when Michelle Sponheimer was here was to remove that entire structure and then build basically just a covering over the stairs to the basement that is in that structure. And at that point, the terminology used for just that covering over the stairwell was a doghouse. After some discussion with Tomatich engineering, we determined that it was actually more cost-effective because of the shared walls to rebuild the entire first story. So technically, it's not really a doghouse anymore, but that was the legacy name that the project was given.
Thank you.
Well, that was my only thing learned today. Thank you. I suppose the other aspect to this really is if we did tear down those two of the three parts, how would we attract a developer to come in, and how much would it cost to put in a nice new building?
Your Honor, if I may follow up, I don't want to tear them down. I want to get everything on Main Street sold. I want to get 20 East Main sold and get that moving and everything. And, we need to get the growth back on Main Street. I'm just planting the seeds so people can be thinking about this when the time comes, come ready to accept a bid. And I appreciate what Councilor Kell said, that, yes, we do have other means and we just don't tap into them enough. So appreciate that. Thanks, Your Honor.
Sure. Anybody else up here or out there on comment? Otherwise, we will say that the public hearing is closed at 5:58 p.m. And I again solicit a motion to go forward with the resolution.
Move for approval, Your Honor.
Second.
Roll call.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Fonseca. Yes. Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff.
Yes.
Very good. That carried. And our last resolution?
Resolution approving a employment contract amendment for the city administrator, Carol Webb.
And on this one, let me explain how this is done. There was I can't remember if it was by court or legislation. I think it was a court case that required that we change how we do this. We used to be able to do it in closed session as a review with the staff person, including our city administrator, and now it has to be done publicly. But as we've done in years past, we do a 360-degree look at our city administrator, talking to all the department heads, getting all of them to fill out a survey, a rather detailed survey. We do the same survey goes to the 8 of us up here. That gets compiled by Jill, our HR director, and summarized, and then the mayor pro tem and I met to summarize it, and then I'd like to read to you a couple paragraphs that are the result of that 360-degree look and review. And to spoil everybody's fun and jump to the bottom line, it was a glowing review.
Your Honor, before
Yes.
you do that, point of order,
Okay?
do you have Carol's permission to read that? Because it's my understanding that that document is confidential.
Yes.
Just want to make sure all are, we're good.
Yeah. And sorry, I think that was, didn't need to be spoken when we met with Carol to go over the summary, but thank you, yeah, for the record. It is allowed to be shared. It is a condition of her contract that we do an annual review, by the way. And here is the summary of it. Overall, the feedback about Carol's performance was very positive, with many noting she pays attention to goals, is forward-thinking, and offers fact-based solutions. She listens well to staff, counselors, and citizens, is available with an open-door policy, and is a responsive, consistent, and effective communicator. She has dealt with a significant turnover in her leadership team this year, which has presented some learning curves for the new staff and for her. For things that could improve, Carol could work on giving recommendations earlier in processes and take a stronger role in transitioning the leaders into new responsibilities. As a result of that review, when the Mayor Pro Tem and I met with her to discuss what would work best for her and best for the city to keep her continued employment, she suggested that instead of and in lieu of an increase in her salary, she would stay at the same salary. Everybody gets the cost of living, but typically the city administrators have been given a bump each year instead of that. And instead she suggested that another week of vacation would work. If you do the math on what she's paid and use the 2.5% increase, if it were as low as that, she's saving us money by doing it, and she's also getting to the 5 weeks that she had in her last city when she came here. So she gave up a week of vacation to move to Marshalltown. And so the Mayor Pro Tem and I thought that was a very generous offer of hers. But he suggested that if we were going to give her anything like that, like a week off, we ought to get something in return. And his suggestion is that we have just a 3-year contract with her now. And we'd like to make that be a 4-year contract, so we're suggesting adding on another year of the contract to keep her here. I think for the next 3 years, whoever is the next mayor, to make sure she sticks around. So that is the result of our 360-degree look and our meeting with her, and at this time I would entertain a motion to act on it.
I so move. Second.
Now it's time for council discussion and then public discussion as well.
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
Carol, are you going to start that 5-week vacation next week? Is that?
No, sir.
Anyone else up here? Anyone in the public like to comment on this?
Lonnie Hoagland, 14 East Main. I said I wasn't going to get up here and talk tonight because I was going to have willpower and sit down. But that lady is doing an amazing job. Whenever I wanted to reach out to her, she got a hold of me quick. I got a hold of Alicia the other day, and I told her I'd like to talk to Carol. She got a hold of me fast, and we had a conversation, and she's a great lady. She's doing great.
Thank you. I don't think anybody's going to want to follow that review, but the mic is still open. I don't think anybody's more relieved than I am, frankly, to have her as our city administrator here. We had a rough go losing 2 of our top staff people at about the same time a few years ago. We were lucky enough to have 2 temporary city administrators that really helped out a lot. I'm not sure we called them, that was their title. We had another mayor for 5 minutes, another city administrator for five minutes, and I exaggerate. But having her come here and take charge of things and meet the staff and keep things rolling has just been a real weight off of my shoulders, and I think the next mayor is going to really appreciate having her here. So let's call the roll.
Fonseca? Yes. Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Good, you're stuck with us another 3 years. All right, discussion items, technology master plan. Who wants to lead off on that?
We have an ordinance first.
Oh, I missed one.
Ordinance 15110 to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Marshalltown, Iowa by amending Chapter 73, recreational vehicles, bicycles, skateboards, and associated code references. Third reading.
Move for approval, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there a
Second.
Okay. The discussion on this one. Third readings don't take all that much discussion usually. Anybody care to address it? If not, we can open it to public comment or comment up here. Either one. Nobody's jumping up to talk to on the microphone. Let's call the roll.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Fonseca? Yes. Kell?
Yes.
Carried. Okay, now on to discussion technology master plan.
This is my item, Your Honor. So one of council's directives at the last strategic planning session was to develop a technology master plan in recognition that some of our, particularly software, is somewhat dated. I developed the plan through collection of surveys that all of the department heads completed. We talked a lot about system integration challenges. We have outdated or unsupported technologies. Our training is somewhat inconsistent. Our asset management is fragmented, and we need improved communication tools. The plan outlines short, mid, and long-term initiatives, and those are centered around modernizing the system, replacing legacy software. One of the primary needs is implementation of centralized document management system. The one we've looked at is called Laserfish. Right now, we manage all of our city documents in a series of Windows folders, which isn't a best practice for cities. Standardizing systems across the enterprise, expanding our GIS access to other departments beyond Public Works, some citizen engagement and transparency options for software, improving public meeting software, which we already have done to some extent, expanding online service request capabilities, and enhancing our website. So those are some of the major takeaways. Some of the things that we recommended that we do in the short term is launch a document management system, upgrade our audiovisual systems in council chambers, just develop a matrix of our software. We really don't know all that we actually have available to us. We want to replace EnerGov with SmartGov, which we actually, council has already approved, and we're in the process of deploying SmartGov, and then implement an asset inventory management system for technology equipment. Those are some of the near-term items. So I'm looking for feedback on the plan from council. Ideally, I'd like to bring it back for formal adoption by the council at a later point.
The floor is open up here.
Your Honor?
Yes.
So Carol, question, I don't really see a hardware, PCs really designated separately. Is that just part of the operating budget, or how is that included?
We do have an IT budget for replacement of computer hardware, and we also have it spelled out in our capital improvement plan. So we are planning for replacement of computers.
That is separate than this?
That is separate, yeah.
Anyone else up here? Public comment? Staff direction?
Yeah, I would just make sure that council is comfortable formally adopting the plan.
Call for a motion and get that done now, or if anybody has any edits to make, to have you staff come back later with it?
I'll make a motion to bring it back as a formal resolution, Your Honor.
Second.
Roll call?
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Fonseca,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Lottiehoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Very good. Staff has direction. And then the next item is to request that we allocate $15,000 in the local option sales tax funds for grant administrative services to pursue CDBG-DR funding. I should have let you read that one. She's faster.
I struggle with that every time I go in to visit with Carol, which she does have an open door policy. I come in to talk to her about this, and I'm always like, that alphabet grant. Because there's so many letters in there. So Deb Millizer, Housing and Community Development Director. And as council knows, Marshalltown previously received a CBDG-DR grant, a housing award after the 2020 deratio, but that project with Hugerich was terminated and the funding was lost. Hugerich still owns that land that was originally identified, so if we reapply, the city would need to use different sites. The Iowa Economic Authority, IEDA, has indicated that Marshalltown could be reconsidered for these grant monies, but only if we first demonstrate project readiness. The first step that they require is to hire a certified grant administrator. Without that certified grant administrator, they won't even consider, they won't consider opening up the grant again to reconsider if we're eligible for it. To prepare, I have secured a commitment from Ralston Holmes and Todd Richardson. So these two gentlemen have prior experience with the CBDG-DR. Did I get CBDG-DR? You got it, the alphabet grant. Housing projects and a positive track record with the IEDA. They did a project over in Lynn County, and they did a great job there. What they had done in Lynn County was they had done a series of duplexes, and when I spoke to them, that's what they were in favor of doing in Marshalltown, if we were able to do that, is to be duplexes versus townhouses. The request tonight being discussed is I'm requesting $15,000 in local option sales tax funds to cover the pre-award cost to put out an RFP, or excuse me, for procuring a grant administrator. So we would have to put out an RFP for a grant administrator. This $15,000 that I'm requesting tonight is not reimbursable, but grant administrator funds moving forward, if we were to get the grant, would be part of the grant, which would be about $40,000 to $60,000 for a grant administrator to work the grant. There is a risk of making the investment because the IEDA may not open the grant back up, but in order for them to consider us, we would need to hire a grant administrator. So we do have the risk of spending $15,000, but we do have the reward, the possible reward of up to $2 million. With that said, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Your Honor, may I?
You may.
Deb, with the duplexes, where would they go? What's the plan on that?
So my tentative plan, and we would have to talk about the surplus property policy and work through that process, but the city owns a number of parcels that are vacant from the tornado or the derecho that already have utilities, I don't know what the correct word, there present, so that would lower the cost of developing there, which would also lower the price point for home buyers.
Okay, so then they would be, it wouldn't be like the city would own them and then be the landlord and
No,
lease- yeah,
no,
like
no.
They would
So
be sold at,
They would
like-
be sold to families.
Okay.
They would be sold to families, and they would be, the project has to move very quickly, though, because we have to start building before June of 2026, and it has to be done by June of 2027. So there's a very tight time frame because of the way these funds were allocated previously and how the IEDA has them. And part of the process was I had to have two builders that said that they would build at the same time to get these 12 units altogether
So it would
completed.
be 12 units, 12
So it'd be
duplexes.
6 duplexes, yes.
6 duplexes, okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Or some variation, but there would be 12 units altogether.
Okay, sounds good. I think, I mean, I would be for this $15,000 to get duplexes put on in Marshalltown and have more people housed and, or more property owners and the tax roll. I think it's a good thing.
I think it would also be really good if we could do infill for newer homes in some of the areas that we lost housing from the natural disasters. I think that would be awesome to have infill there and boost the neighborhoods.
Your Honor, question. So wasn't the previous housing and grant more like apartments that were rentals?
It was townhouses, but they were to be sold. It was 2 sets of 6 townhomes.
Would you anticipate having trouble getting contractors to do this?
For the grant administrator or the?
No, suppose we got the grant, okay? It seems like last time that we had trouble attracting contractors to build them because of some of the requirements from the government.
So that's a great question, and I already have pre-commitments, signed commitments from Ralston Homes and, what's his name? Sorry, I'm forgetting his name, Todd Richardson. They've already signed a letter of commitment that if we were to put this out to bid, that they would bid on it to do it. That was part of the prerequisite for IEDA is that we'd have to have those commitments before they would even consider.
And I would add that they both have significant experience with these types of HUD projects.
Seems like a better bet than buying a lottery ticket. If you can get $2 million on $15,000.
Our family was guilty, or we gambled last night as well. And I'm still here today, so you know I didn't win.
Oh, you wouldn't leave.
I had
us,
have
did
still
you?
been
No,
here.
You'd just make a nice donation to the public parks.
I'm already donating by the traffic cam.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Your Honor, if I may?
Sure.
Deb, are the other 3 counties in this running also for this money?
Right now, that grant is closed right now. The IEDA is only considering reopening it. For us, they may reopen it for other counties. I guess I don't really know the answer to that. The answer that I was told was in order for them to consider reopening the grant, we would have to have these things lined up. So I don't know if the other counties are applying or not. This is kind of a chicken or the egg situation, and I'm just following direction from the IEDA.
I have to comment that we have a good relationship with the IDEA and its director for the other things that we've done around here.
Yeah, I think Debbie Durham's awesome, and Robert Wick, who has been one of them that's been emailing me. They have been absolutely great with answering questions and kind of guiding me through it, because this is my first time going through this process, so they've been absolutely great.
Anybody else up here? Any public comment on this one?
Tim Bradbury, 12 North 10th Avenue. You said there's only 12 units that's going to be coming out of that 2 million? And if so, that would be over $300,000 a unit? Are we talking about a normal Joe being able to buy something like that in the neighborhoods you want to put them in, or did I misunderstand how many units for that $2 million?
So the grant helps offset the cost of the units, so the price point of these units should be no more than $175,000 each for a home buyer to purchase. And that's part of the reason why, when I talked to the IEDA, they were interested in if we were able to do infill on properties that we already own, because it would lower the price point for families and make them more affordable.
Good question, good answer.
It was a good question.
Marco?
Your Honor, may I follow up?
Sure.
So with our poverty level in Marshalltown, $175,000 unit that only low to moderate income people can qualify for, is that achievable based on our numbers here in town?
You're a little taller than me, Mark. I don't have the math for that, Gary, but the IEDA is not going to put their money into this unless they think it's achievable for our community. And I think there's lots of families that can do $175,000 that are low to moderate income.
Marco Yepes Gomez, 36 West Main Street, Unit 209. It's sad what happened with the other developer, but I support us hiring a grant administrator so we can reapply for this grant. We have a housing crisis in this nation that doesn't get talked much in the news, so any little we can to help increase housing supply is good. I'd like to bring up the idea, if we get awarded this grant again, we should consider working with a developer to make duplexes design templates that future developers can use to eliminate the barrier of cost for architectural designs and permit approvals. It kind of goes with the concern that Mike Lottehoff, or Councilmember Lottehoff, mentioned. There are cities in the U.S. that have done this already, and perhaps we can look at their work for ideas. Thank you.
Other public comment?
Doris Kinnick, 2020 Catalina Place. I bought my house now 8 years ago, and I bought my house for $109,000, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that my daughter and son-in-law will be able to buy a house. I guarantee they will not be able to afford a $175,000 house. Guaranteed. As their first house, that ain't happening. It's got to be lower.
Anyone else? Looking for staff direction on this one, I would have to bet.
My recommendation was that you would approve the $15,000.
Your Honor, I would like to make that motion.
Very good, very good. Is there a second to it?
Second.
Roll call.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottehoff?
Yes.
Very good. Staff has its direction. I know the way this works in the market is that if somebody's able to move up to a property that's at the 175 level, there may become a property that is lesser value, you know, somebody who is younger that's able to afford something higher than that. So that's part of what I think the Iowa Department of
And I think the max cost is supposed to be $175, the max cost. So we want to try to get the price down.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. And for those that couldn't hear that, the 175 is the maximum cost. There may be ways to have the initial price be less than that. All right, on to the next one, which is the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD 4-year 24 audit follow-up requirements.
Okay, so Deb Millizer, Housing and Community Development Director. This is on the agenda tonight because HUD issued a management decision letter regarding the fiscal year 2024 audit of the low rent housing agency, which was conducted by Ide Bailey. I struggle with saying that. There were two findings. The first was a repeat adjustment noting that some financial data was not fully recorded according to generally accepted accounting principles, and HUD recommends additional training and stronger review procedures. And then the other finding was about internal controls. While our finance director, Diana, was reviewing the voucher management system reports, those reports were not saved. They weren't uploaded. Not all of them were uploaded. So there was no documentation for the auditors to prove that Diana had done that. That period of time is when there was a big turnover in staff here with the city, and people were carrying many duties. That was keep in mind that was this for 2024, so there was a lot of staff turnover during that time. Since then, procedures have been updated to ensure reviews are uploaded and retained. Going forward, staff will also pursue additional training opportunities through HUD webinars, NARO courses, and VMS providers like Nan McKay and Quadell on the voucher management system. HUD requires that the governing board discuss the findings and that the minutes of that meeting are submitted within 30 days. Thus the purpose of me standing here in front of you all, because you are the HUD, the board. So that's why I'm here discussing this tonight. I also want to share with you that for 2024, for the Section 8 Management Assessment Program, the CMAP certification, our housing authority did receive a 100% on that. I believe this audit was just an oversight with staff turnover and knowing the process of what needed to be uploaded. So I believe it was occurring, it just, not all of it was being documented. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions up here, comments? Public comments? Thanks for your report.
So, Your Honor, I do have a question. So for the training, is that started? So is that training started? Is that plan in place?
Well, we had already started doing that, and then the audit came back and said that we needed to do that. But as the training becomes available, we get emails all the time about different training opportunities. We will be looking into those. We just received this report within the last 2 weeks, so we haven't had an opportunity to explore the trainings. But that is my plan, that we'll be doing more trainings.
Anybody else? Okay. Thanks for that report. On to the employee wellness program discussion.
Yes, Your Honor. So staff would like to start an employee wellness program. It's a benefit that we currently do not offer here at the city. Many cities, big, small, and large, but many cities our size offer an employee wellness program as a benefit. The proposal is that we're requesting $23,400 from Fund 884, our group of health insurance fund, to fund the proposed employee wellness program. This is an accepted way to pay for such a benefit, and our current fund balance as of 8/26 was $951,368. The things that we would focus on in the program are education, on nutrition, stress management, and healthy habits, preventive care, things like biometric screenings, flu shots. We already offer flu shots, but we keep doing that. Lifestyle management types of initiatives. We're lucky that Kelsey Stafford, who joined our team recently, also managed the employee wellness program for the city of Muscatine prior to our time here. So we have an expert on staff to do this. Statistics do show that over time, maybe not immediately, but over time, these kinds of programs can help reduce health claim costs. It takes a few years to realize that, but we think it would also be an excellent benefit to offer our employees. So Kelsey's here. Kelsey and Jill Petermeyer together would fund or would manage the program, and they can fund it too. No. They just manage the program. And so I think we're well set to implement something that would be useful for the city, could potentially reduce costs, and would provide an extra benefit.
Your Honor.
I support this because most companies that have much for staff say this is just going to always win us money and make happier employees in the end.
Thank you.
And Carol, just wondering, it would be all city staff, every single, like the police officers, the fire, every single individual.
Yeah,
on
usually
staff.
what we do is offer it to probably full and part-time staff. There might be an additional cost for part-time. We'd have to, it would depend on the screening and how much it costs and all that. Sometimes these are also offered to spouses for a fee. They would pay the fee but could participate in a screening that we would offer because the spouses are often covered on our health insurance plan. So those are the kinds of things that as we form a program, we can take a closer look at.
That's good.
Your Honor, for me?
Sure.
I know this will be a question for some of the city staff because they've already approached me about having a fitness area. I was wondering maybe if that could be worked into the system where they would have an opportunity to have something like this offered.
Yeah, one of the benefits that we offered in Muscatine previously was memberships to the Y. So we would supplement a membership to the Y. If you went so often, you had to show that you were attending so often in order to receive the benefit.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may. Carol, don't we have a state-of-the-art fitness center already in one of our buildings?
We do. I haven't talked to the folks that reside in that building to see if that's an opportunity, but we could certainly discuss that.
I know that's a nice benefit over at the Fire and Police Department that's now open also to the 911 Commission staff that are under high-stress jobs. But we also have the nicest Y in the Midwest, so I'll bet between the two things, actually, our school system also has really good facilities too, and we have a good relationship with this.
I'm just thinking, I'm sorry.
So let's be honest, I'm going to work out with these 16 to 8-year-old kids that are in shape.
or one of the cops that can outrun us, I don't know.
I just threw it out there because of cost, I mean, a Y membership is a pretty pricey thing, or if they go to a private, Planet Fitness or something like that, there's got to be a way that we can, look at that at least.
Yeah, we'll assess our options. We could also talk to the Y about if they could work with us in a partnership, something like that.
Okay. Any public comment on this one?
Jim Shaw, 522 North 2nd Street. Planet Fitness is $15 a month. Unless you get the black package. That's $25.
Good evening, Lee Botter, 13 East Southridge. I'm going to give my business address right now. As a health insurance and employee benefits specialist during the course of my career, which spans about 4 decades, I've worked with individuals under and over 65, as well as employer groups of all sizes in the private and public sector. Focus that we've always focused on is to make sure individuals and employers are meeting their needs, goals, budget, and benefits education. In review of the employee benefits program offered by the city, I first want to share that the city has done an excellent job in designing the benefits program for our staff. The wellness program being requested is something I would highly recommend due to the potential of your ROI, your return on investment. This can be shown in lower health insurance expenditures. The numbers range, but a common number for each dollar spent on the wellness program is a return of potentially $1.50. This usually increases, as Carol indicated, with years, but it's also with your participation levels increase. I've seen groups that I've worked with and studies showing savings on health insurance side going up to $6 for every dollar spent on wellness. You also have what's called VOI, which is your value on investment. This is shown in job satisfaction, higher productivity levels. Bottom line, healthy employees tend to be happier employees. This can lead to less absenteeism and better service to our public, which we always need. So why am I presenting tonight? Okay, I'm going to shock you guys because I'm usually the one up here saying spend less money. And it's probably because I'm too analytical in nature. However, I'm going to say the number that you build in, excuse me, saying $500 for incentive, in my opinion, is way too low. Incentives can be in gift cards, gym memberships, stress balls. I give out stress thanks. Here's a stress thing that I use at work sometimes. Lower deductibles, extra days of vacation. Just be creative. And it sounds like Kelsey's got the background to be creative. Programs that I've seen and helped with on the conservative side starts with a budget of $36 to $90 per employee per year. Not a little over that $3 estimate that you're looking at per employee per year. If I use a base of 150 employees, a bare bones incentive budget should run between $5,400 to $13,500. If you add that into your contractual services of $22,900, your total program expense would range from about $28,300 to $36,400. I'm here standing to encourage you to set a higher budget for incentives and encourage full participation so we can see higher than that $1.50 return on investment. Also, as you design the program, Kelsey, I'm going to call you out here, make sure it allows for future growth because it will help with the recruitment and the retention for all of our departments, which is desperately needed. Thank you for your time.
Other comment on this one?
Your Honor, I should mention too that this would be an annual commitment, not just a one-time commitment, just to make that clear.
Motion on this one?
Honor, I move it as outlined in the memo.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Bodyhoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
That carried. I love it when there's a good idea and the right people to carry it forward. All right. Oh, but now we go into budget discussion for year 2027.
So, Your Honor, tonight are some of our public safety budgets, police, fire, and then building inspections. We'll cover the remainder of the public safety items, which include code enforcement and rental inspections at the next meeting.
Good evening, Chris Jones, Chief of Police, and I've been asked to discuss our current year's budget, some projected numbers for what we would be looking for in the next overall fiscal year. But a majority of our budget is covered by salaries and benefits. Almost 90% of our budget relates to paying staff. Currently, we had just hired 2 officers that had started today, which we still have 3 available openings, and I'm happy to tell you at this point we had done oral interviews last week, and we currently have those 3 available openings in for background investigations, and we have 7 pending people. So this is as good as we've been at making a dent and becoming full staffed. So that's very important. And talking about the full staff is really where we're going to start with the fact that many of the training costs of sending people that are uncertified to the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy had went up July 1st. There are some additional costs in equipment, the different types of equipment that we're issuing new officers to be competitive with other agencies. We are providing full equipment for new staff once they get here, making sure that they have everything that they need. And so we've been doing a really good job at making sure that we are up to date with the items that we're providing and making sure that we're working with each individual employee to find out what works for them. For the most part, a lot of what we're doing lately and what we've been doing is training executive staff, a leadership team, my lieutenants and captains, and getting them up to speed on where they need to be in the executive positions that they currently hold. But much of what we've been doing is providing and trying to provide in-service training whenever possible. And by in-service means that we would look for expert trainers outside of our agency and bringing them into our department and training more officers. But then we're also training officers at a higher level to be able to train the trainers or train other officers as they come on the department. The benefit of doing those things, or we can spread our training out across the different shifts to more personnel. I think that it's a motivating benefit for people to provide training and instructor opportunities that helps with our retention. But we also receive free positions and free spots. If we host a training, we do the work up front, we can receive free training, and then we can also be able to spread that also to other agencies. So since I've taken over in January, I've worked really hard with agencies, State Center, the Marshall County Sheriff's Office, Meskwaki PD, area law enforcement agencies, for us to find ways that we can cut our training, because many of us are doing the same types of training. That we can collaborate when it's possible, which has kind of helped us build some better relationships. For talking about efficiencies and eliminating opportunities, in addition to the in-service opportunities, I probably need to talk about lawn care. Chief Cross is going to talk a little bit about snow removal. Since we've been in the building, we're just past our 6th year anniversary. We've went from purchasing our own mowers, where Chris and I were responsible for doing our lawn care, to paying nearly $16,500 for lawn care maintenance. It might be an area that we could cut some costs by collaborating with maybe other city departments, but then also maybe going out and finding other options. We do want our building to look professional. We want it to look great. Milestone is doing a great job at what the building looks like, but it's something we could revisit. I also had listed some of the efficiencies about overtime. That's a major expense for us. It's almost $150,000 a year. So with being down that many officers, it's going to take almost 28 weeks for a new officer to be trained through our field training program, plus go to the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy. Plus we have 2 officers that are currently deployed, which may be back next September. It may be early summer before we start seeing reductions in those overtime numbers. So we have field training officers that are working overtime right now. We're doing everything that we can to hold on to those people that are agreeing to work for us, and we're doing everything that we can to hire the best possible people. So we're hiring them right away, we're getting them on the street, we're getting them acclimated to the city and our agency, and we'll continue to do that until we're fully staffed. Some of the areas, when we were talking about fees for services, this is something that I've taken personally since I've taken over this year. Some of those fees for service, we end up finding out that we've been providing complimentary security services for quite some time for city activities, and it would be something that we're going to reapproach with council's permission at taking a look at those 4th of July events, which we were paying overtime out of the police department budget. We're not charging event coordinators for those services. We haven't been charging for Oktoberfest, which is a very expensive endeavor, because we're looking at Thursday to Sunday at some of those services. And then right now, Freedom of Information Act requests that we're getting to some extent have been complimentary up to about an hour, but we're looking at charging for officer time and administrative time to put some of those things together. It seems like any time that we talk about our ATE system, or we talk about our flock system, we receive quite a few requests for public information, and it can be time consuming to go through that, some of those emails, and making sure that we're doing the right thing and providing those people with the information that they need, and we may need to begin to charge for some of those services. The other part that I've been really promoting with our staff is making sure when it's applicable to file city charges for simple misdemeanors. So when we're doing traffic control, or we're doing maybe some other type of arrest where there's a city ordinance involved, that the officer pays attention to that code section, because we can actually recoup about 90% of those additional fines if they're city ordinance charges, and we can't get that money if they charge for a state charge. And it really is the discretion of the officer, but we do, we continue to educate, we continue to make sure the officers know what those city ordinances numbers are, because they're a little more complicated than the standard state code numbers. But I think we're doing a really good job currently at filling those citations out from the city side. You open to any questions?
You know, if I may? Chief, try to keep track of how many officers you have. Now, you said you had 2 deployed right now.
We have 2 deployed, yes.
So if they were back on duty and with the 3 that you just hired, that would bring you to what, 45?
We'll have 39 if we're still counting the people that are deployed, yeah. So we have 3 vacancies currently.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, if I may?
Sure.
So Chief, as part of this wellness program, couldn't we put like a 50, 100-pound weights on a push lawnmower and let you guys mow it yourself?
Well, you can, as long as the Facebook comments of the most expensive lawn care team can be muted out. So Chris and I kind of took a beating there for a while with Chief Ryerson. And it takes about 6.5 hours. It took me about 6.5 hours to do that. Milestone can do it in just a few with multiple mowers, and it looks much better with them doing it than.
Chief, we're just brainstorming here. Okay?
I did some landscaping, so we got that going.
How wide, I was a professional mower one summer for the Iowa Department of whatever it was up in Okoboji. 5-foot mowers? Do we have a 5-foot mower for that sort of thing?
What did we have, 6 foot?
It was big.
Okay.
It was like
It was big.
it was probably 60 inches maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I only broke it twice, so that's good. There is something to say about the people that do it. They're familiar with that.
And Milestone is the professional staff that
Yes.
has been doing it?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
They have done a good job, but I just want to make sure that if we're going to take a look at their contract this year, it would be something that we'll look at.
Other comments or questions up here? Otherwise, we'll turn it over to the public. Anybody in the public? Okay. Chief? Yep. Okay.
Tim Bradbury, 12 North 10th Avenue. My question is, if you're going to go after more misdemeanor tickets and things, are you meaning like for infractions of grass in your gravel and different things like that? Or are you talking about just traffic misdemeanors?
Well, it's technically not going after anyone in additional. So when an officer ends up pulling someone over, say, for example, for speeding, they have the option to either write it under a city infraction or a city ordinance violation or a state code violation. Traditionally, old timers like myself, we used to have a book that we looked those things up. Now it's all computerized. It's a little easier for the officers to do that, but they have to know where to look. And sometimes when you put speed in a computer, it will come up with the state, because the state runs the system, the state codes will come up first, so they actually have to dig a little bit more for those. But it's real important that we're keeping those fines within the city of Marshalltown.
I'm all for traffic stuff, but I just wonder, does this include the civil,
Oh.
Because like one officer got my neighbor for 4 cars in
Oh.
the driveway that had some grass in it. I
Yep.
bought the gravel for him, and it upset me because they had medical needs and a senior citizen. When I talked to the chief about it, he said he wasn't going to do anything about it. He said the officer could do that every day to him, and that really got me because that just concerned me.
Yeah, we only infract criminal code violations, and so.
Other public comment on this one? Otherwise, other chief?
Honorable Mayor and Council, my name is Christopher Cross, and I'm proud to be your fire chief. So I just want to give you guys an overview, kind of an executive summary of our budget. But I'd like to put that into context about what are you getting for the fire department's budget. We have a fully career fire department, which is fantastic and capable. There's 24 uniformed firefighters across 3 divisions, A, B, and C. So there's 8 people, 8 firefighters per shift, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we've established a minimum staffing level of 6. So 2 people can be off on a Kelly day, which is an overtime reduction tool that the city owns, or somebody can be on vacation, or if we have a sick call, we will hire somebody back for overtime from a different division. We provide service to the city of Marshalltown proper as our first due area, but we also have a 28E agreement with all the surrounding communities in Marshall County, as well as some other communities outside of the metro, kind of outside of the city, kind of down in the Des Moines metro area. We have an agreement with a lot of other communities other than just the Marshall County communities. We also regularly provide extrication service, which is cutting people out of cars that have been crashed to free them from an entanglement for all the communities in Marshalltown. We go out. We're part of their first alarm for those communities as well. We do all fire suppression, fire code enforcement plan review within the city for new construction. We provide EMS first response to all 911 calls to private residences. We don't go to nursing homes or clinics because there's already medical staff on board there. All said, we run approximately 3,500 runs per year, both fire and EMS combined. And we probably have 30 or 40 legitimate structure fires a year where it would require us to pull a line from our engine and actually do fire suppression work. So in the agenda, I have included a memo that gives a readout of what our budgeted funds are over the last 3 fiscal years. This year, we've allocated $4.1 million for the fire department operating budget. Year to date, we've expended approximately 10% of that. Some of the main cost drivers for the fire department on the operational side obviously is greater than 90% of it is dedicated to salaries and benefits. The workforce is the engine that makes the department go out or makes the department go and provide service. So it stands to reason that it would be the most needy, as it were, section of the operations budget. We replace protective clothing on a regular basis because it has an expiration date. It's typically good for 10 years, and then the NFPA recommends that it comes out of service and it's replaced with new up-to-date equipment. And that is primarily because the protective fibers have a shelf life and they degrade through multiple washings over time. They degrade from UV impingement as well. So in order to keep our people as safe as we can, we adhere to the 10-year time limit on gear, and we retire it, and then we have a primary and secondary set of turnout gear that keeps rotating. A set of turnout gear is approximately $5,000, not counting air packs or helmets or boots. Those are all extra above and beyond the $5,000 price tag estimate. And we typically do between 1 and 3 sets per year. We have it on a rotation. We track it all the time. We spend a considerable amount of money in the operations budget for contract maintained services for records management. We also spend a considerable amount in the operations budget doing software maintenance on interfaces that exist to be able to pipe information from the computer-aided dispatch center to our MDCs, which is the mobile data computers that we carry in the trucks, and our alerting software that tells the guys where to go, and then our records management software so that we can record records of inspections, training, incidents, pre-plans, and that. some of the opportunities for efficiency in eliminating opportunity or eliminating costs and efficiency opportunities. Like the police department, we like to have in-service training. We do a lot of internal training on a regular basis, which makes up the majority of our training calendar. It's all internally driven. We like to utilize free trainings that are offered at the United States Fire Administration out at Emmitsburg, Maryland, the National Fire Academy. Those are all executive level, national level trainings that are free for cities and departments to take advantage of. We just need to get the person out. They are reimbursed for their travel, and we have to buy a meal card. So it's 7 to 10 days of training of the best trainers in the world and the best curriculums in the world, and it's fantastic. We have executed the council's direction on removing the Iowa Fire Inspections as a fire inspection vendor this past July 1. That's been going well, and all of the revenue generated from inspections that we go out into the public to take care of for fire code things will remain in the city and flow back into the general fund. Some of the fee-for-service opportunities that the fire department participates in is that annually we have an agreement with the Iowa Veterans Home where we provide fire protection and rescue services for that facility, and that agreement is renewed every year. And it's based on determining the per capita fire cost for the city of Marshalltown, which is the fire department's budget divided by its population. We get a dollar amount, and then we multiply it by the average rolling census to get. Sometimes it's above 60,000. Sometimes it's below 60,000. This year, I believe it was 58,000 something. But that's a reoccurring thing. We charge for fire plan review fees, depending, and that is a little bit difficult to track the regularity of that revenue opportunity. And then, like the police department, we do have the ability in code to be able to issue city infractions for fire code violations like illegal burning and whatnot, and that's dependent upon the discretion of the company officer, whether or not it's egregious or whether they can solve the problem through education, which is what we like to try to do before we have to be punitive about anything. So, and I think that's probably enough yammering for me. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Up here.
Hey, Chris, tell the public what you told me, that on the fire inspections, that you guys are current now. That backlog that we had a few years ago is all.
Yeah, I think we're up to speed on everything that needs to be inspected is being inspected, and we have a rotation going, and we have a plan to be able to get through the city in a relatively reasonable time frame, and I think we're doing well. All the chiefs are participating along with the crews, so it's kind of an all hands on deck type of thing. It's fantastic.
And the reason I wanted you to say it to the public is that's what's important, is you're being proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah, yes. We know that fire inspections are a big deal, and it has the tendency or the opportunity sometimes to be political, and we want to try to remove that for as much and be as transparent as possible so that it doesn't have to be political.
Public comment on this one?
Thank you.
Good reports.
Good evening. My name is not Chris. Deb Millizer, Housing and Community Development Director, and I'll be giving you the budget update for building inspections. But before I do that, I want to share that this last week was a very big week for me, and I was out of work for a day or so, and I was able to rely on Carol. She helped me with this. Those that don't know, the birth of my first grandchild happened, so I missed a little bit of work, but Carol helped me put this together, or she did put this together, she and Clayton, so I just wanted to give her kudos for being a good team leader and for doing that and knowing how important that was for me to be able to be there. So thank you, Carol, for doing that. So with this, I'm going to start out with the historical expenditures. I'm just going to go from the memo that was pulled together. Historical expenditure trends, 23-24, we ran a surplus. And then in 2024-25, we ran a deficit, and this year we're kind of on trend, and that really goes to show that revenue comes from building and trade permits, and that can ebb and flow from year to year depending on what people are doing in the community. Our main cost drivers, about 80% of our cost comes from our contracted services. The city utilizes Veenstra and Kim, or V&K, for building plan review and building inspection services. This cost, as I said earlier, is about 80% of the total inspections budget. For efficiency and elimination opportunities, we could hire an in-house building official and building inspector. Services that are currently provided by V&K have and remain satisfactory, but the city lacks an in-house building official that can process building and trade permits and answer general building code inquiries and arise on a daily basis. I would say that does slow us down a little bit because we have to reach out to somebody else and wait for that response instead of just having somebody on staff there that we can go to. Hiring a building official would improve governmental operation efficiency by allowing for city staff members to be available to complete plan reviews and to be available at the city hall to address code review questions as they arise. Another benefit of hiring a building official in-house is that time spent by planning staff can be redirected towards code enforcement and other planning related services for the city. In addition to the building official's position, bringing a building inspector position in-house would allow for the elimination of the V&K contract as the building services, of the V&K, as all building services could then be provided in-house. There is also the potential of retaining V&K as like a backup, so if staff were out, we had a surplus of work, we could still rely on V&K, and they've done excellent work, and we're not dissatisfied with their services at all. They are very reliable, and they are highly knowledgeable. However, if we were to eliminate V&K, we would need to do in-house hires. So the estimated annual building official salary is between $72,000 and $97,000 plus benefits, and an estimated annual building inspector salary is between $59,000 and $80,000. And in order to make that decision, of course, we would have to have further conversations, but the V&K contract does take up 80% of our budget, and we could adjust fees if we thought that we weren't able to cover in-house staff. Those are things that we could look into in the future. Do you have any questions of me?
So we are looking for feedback from council on
Yes.
if you would support looking at in-house staff, or do you want to keep the model the way it is? Different cities do it different ways. A lot of them have in-house staff, but a few contract out also. And I understand that at some point you did have in-house staff. I'm not exactly clear on why you went to this model, but I know Clayton has experience with this kind of thing, and his recommendation was to look at bringing those functions in-house.
That's correct. Clayton and I have talked about this a few times, and that's what he would like to do.
Your Honor, if I may. I think I'd like to see more or less a side-by-side comparison of in-house and what we're getting with V&K in order to make kind of an informed decision on this, and as far as the effect that it'll have on our budget.
So would you like for us to review fees and all of that too, if there's adjustments that we could make?
Yes.
Your Honor? Can I expand on that request? I suspect when we look at the cost of bringing in-house, probably be relatively neutral or similar to what we are spending. I would like the analysis to expand beyond the expenditure side of it. What are we gaining from that? Is it speed? Is it the responsiveness to whatever? Give us the full picture beyond just the dollars. Maybe that will help us justify maybe a loss or hopefully a gain.
Your Honor, if I may, and to expand on that, I've had several tradespeople that are the old guard. They don't like that we outsource this because they have to wait. You know, time is money. They got to schedule an appointment, come back, whatever. And I agree that at least the inspector position should not only break even, but there should be gain there. And then plus the positive gain is we get better rapport with the public and the tradespeople and things like that. So yes, I would jump on this bandwagon. We need to see a projection and a value to the city financially and intrinsically with, you know, the public.
Okay.
Now, I've been hanging around this dais longer than anybody else, but some of you have other institutional knowledge. Does anybody remember why we made the switch in the first place? I think it had to do with losing a staff person.
Yeah, 2 staff members retired.
Yeah, and it was viewed as a cost savings at the time, and I think it's backfired because of the relationship.
Thanks.
Your Honor, we also had a huge backlog where B&K could get in and get it straightened back up because they had the manpower and we didn't. So I think it was, let's get back to where we need to be.
Okay. Anybody
Need
else
a
up here?
formal motion, Your Honor?
Let me ask for public comment first. Formal motion would be in order.
I'd make a motion for staff to bring back a plan to have us look at. You need, Carol?
That's it. Thank
I
you.
would second it.
Roll call.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Hoff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Fonseca?
Yes.
Very good. Staff has instructions there, and as you'll see if you're following through the agenda, we're going into closed session here, so